Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you had a good day in the market. It's March 27th, Friday, another volatile week. We're going to review 0-day options. I took on SPY and the small account challenge. Here's Eric's 30-minute chart. Yeah, if you watched yesterday, discontinuation to the downside, rejecting 5-day, and building liquidity on blue, breaking it, doing it again, and then even breaking it at the end of the day there. Yesterday, let's see. Yesterday was red for me, but I fought back and made it a much smaller red day. Didn't quite have it charted right and scaled in. Today, gap down. Just continuation from this right here. Gap down, built liquidity. Looks like it was maybe, we'll see, and then just continue to sell. Pretty big day. Let's see here. I got on at like 10 after market opened. Charted purple for, sorry, I have a bad headache. I think I might be getting that sickness, unfortunately. Hopefully not. Zinc, vitamin C, and hydration. Charted the purple there for the precision selling. And then this gold, I didn't like it a whole lot, but charted that one. And then precision buying right there with the gray. And I was looking for the bullish controlled or bearish controlled buying. I was having a hard time seeing it in here. I was kind of guessing with a couple. I don't know if I originally had it. No, I didn't have it like this. Trying to figure out what it was, but I think this is what it ended up being. I noticed later. Maybe this was a little bit off actually. But anyways, made a nice little head and shoulders. This blue line wasn't up here at that point. Didn't quite close the cup. A nice shoulder here, so grab that. Head and shoulders and broke. Completed the inverse cup all the way down here. This is actually kind of similar to the last few days where we just have like kind of a move and then it just builds liquidity for a while. Huh. Just kind of gets everyone excited and then traps them. Anyways, first trade for me. So 2 days ago was pretty bad red day. Yesterday was not as bad at all. Today was Friday. Trying to take it easy. First trade. Oh, that's right. I forgot about that one. First trade was a call at 10:12. So did all this stuff. Started build liquidity down here. I charted this green actually. That was based on this right here, I think. The support and up here is resistance. And put it down here. I had it double. Let's see, I had it there. And I had it here. And I just thought a zombie retracement was probably coming. So, because there didn't really make a handle at all. So once it broke here, yeah, broke there. And I kind of did it based on breaking green, which is a bullish controlled selling. And then I think I had gray to manage my stops, and then potentially orange. Of course, in good fashion. Let's see, was it 10:13 and 12? So actually, I got it on this candle. I thought I waited. Huh. It was at the end of that candle. It was a limit order. Okay. Yeah, bought a call right here. Big red candle right shortly after. Thank you very much. But it didn't break my gold. Next candle opened here. Gave it a little bit of time and it rallied, thankfully. Rallied some more. Couple different exits. Of course, the top of this, which I didn't have yet. VWAP is one. I didn't have white. And then I put white in because I just put it based on these supports. So I did have red. And so yeah, put it in for, I put white in somewhere in there, and then I had VWAP, and then top of gold. So got above top of gold, and broke this gray right here. Let's see, yeah. But I just got it right here, actually. I exited right here. Nice profit. It was at VWAP. And I did have white at that point. I'm remembering now. So close to that white, which I wasn't sure about him. It was just based on these two supports right here. It was early for me to be confident in white. Also had red, but it kind of broke that. I don't know. As a zombie, it's hard to know where to take profits. So that was kind of just being prudent on that. So good one, 166 to 205. So nice first trade, really. And I'm still looking for puts, really. I mean, cup's closed, or inverse cup is completed. And we built liquidity down there. And we're still in the continuation to the downside. So, okay, yeah. And then this trade. So gold, this bronze wasn't here. Whatever it says, gold, bronze. I did have red. So, did all that, came down. I didn't have green yet. I did have white though, but I didn't think much of white yet. And then it bounced on red, which gave me more confidence in red. Came up, rejected white here, which could have been an entry. But again, it was pretty early for gray, not white. And then broke red. So that's kind of what I was waiting for. Had a head and shoulders here. Handle. This inverse cup. I know it's a little overshot, but that's fine. So let's see. 1038. I gotta put a market order. This is 637. 637 down here. Got it on this candle pretty early on it, I think. Maybe not. I decided to do the first one as a market, and then I wanted to scale in with the limits. So got one. And 1039, I got another one, a limit for $1.25. It's actually a worse fill. 1039, I got another one. 1040, I got another one for $1.17. So got two more on this candle. Looks like it's a nice little retest. And then it just starts to grind and grind. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. It's retesting. I wanted to get more, but I'm like, I should wait. I thought maybe I'll wait until it hits gray. And I think that's where I got this one. Did I get my last one around there? Where's that last one? 1040. No, it wasn't. It was on this candle. By the time I came up to there, I'm like, I should probably not scale into the C anymore. I had four of them. Came up, rejected, and I'm like, all right, looks good. Nice little head and shoulders now below the break of this red, as well as retesting or rejecting gray. Now this green, I did have a green, but my green, what was it even based on? I can't exactly remember, but it was just a little bit steep, which is a bullish controlled selling. Yeah, it was more like that. It was like that. So that's my profit. I'm going to take off 2 to 3 right there. Leave 1 to let it bounce and hit that resistance. And as a runner, it comes down, does a wick, just no man's land. And I'm waiting for that. And then just starts climbing back up. And I have 4 contracts. If I close right there, I'll probably up like, I don't know, 200 at least, maybe. But I wasn't planning on closing them all right there. I just stick to my plan. And my charting was just a tiny bit off. Didn't know, because this one was kind of, I hadn't really used this one a whole lot yet. I hadn't seen it show up, and I was expecting continuation anyways. I wasn't expecting it to bounce on it, but regardless, I was maybe take profit, and so it just undershot just a little bit, so I didn't take anything. And then it rallies up, and I didn't have like a break-even stop or anything like that. My stop is this gray. Of course, if it's already bouncing on the bottom, which is now green that you can see, then I would have taken profit much sooner. But to me, it hadn't made it all the way to the edge of the wedge. So then this big candle comes up and then it breaks, and I'm just like, oh, that was it. So I quickly chart green here just from these supports, and I'm like, this is fine. Like, this is probably what it is. I just had the angle just a little bit wrong, because you can see it here showing up and here, and then even up here at Hive Day a little bit. It's like not quite up there, but there's a couple spots where it's like, it's hard to tell just quite where it was. Right here, resistance, support. Of course, this resistance, just a little bit off. And it sucks. It's another one where I'm like scaled way up and I was wrong. So that was buying 122, 125, 124, 117. Those are all my buys. Sold them all for $1.07. So 50, 100. Yeah, I was down like 100 probably at that point. But that first trade was up like 40, so maybe down like 50, 60, something like that. I wasn't looking at it. And it did that bounce. And I quickly charted green. I'm like, okay, fine. But after it did this, I'm like, well, that gray, it did reject it here now 3 times. So potentially this is potential to go long here or a retracement for a little inverse head and shoulder. This green selling is bullish, and it's still a retracement, still a wedge trade because it's in a wedge, but that shows to me this could be the bottom of the wedge. And so it could have room to go all the way up to green here, which it did perfectly. That's with high of day. Isn't that cray? Sorry, I'll stop. I think I said my head hurts a little bit, so you're gonna hear some weird stuff at times. So I flipped. I got into a call. 1048. It was a little tough to do this, but I felt okay about it. Quickly flipped into, of course, just one call after stopping out of 4. Just jumped into one right here. And that was a market. 1048 market. Oh, did I get another one? I did. I was able to get one more. I limit ordered. So 141 was the first buy. 136 was the second buy. I was able to get a nice little limit cheeky fill right there. Looking for a higher move, but I did chart green. I don't know where exactly. Yeah, of course VWAP is always a potential. But yeah, I got 2 of them there. Nice big green candle, another big green candle, and they sold the first one for $1.77. I actually got a nice fill on that one at 1050, I believe. Is that, am I doing that right? Yeah, 1050. So I got a nice VWAP fill right there. Might have even been a limit, was it? Yeah, limit $1.77. To close the next one for $1.67 at 1106. Yeah, this one I was patient. I'm like, I'm gonna let this one ride. I'm gonna leave it to gold. So it comes down, breaks the gray, bounces on this red, which maybe is irrelevant. Starts buying up here, and I'm using gold. Retest VWAP. I'm like, oh boy. And then comes up, and then it's getting nice. Like the price here, I think is $2 on this. It's a rip. So I'm like, all right, sick. And I didn't have this one in here at that time, but I put it in later just to see. I had it here. I don't know, but yeah, look at that. Eating algos. Could have taken on here, but again, my profit target was this green, which it did hit, but it was in a wedge. So yeah, it's not going past go. It's making a detour via boardwalk. So did not catch that sick exit right there, and it just totally reversed, and I closed right here. So I had the right idea on the close. It was a little greedy to hold one for that whole move when I only had 2 contracts, you know, as being half the position. I definitely should have closed it. Where to close it? I guess just after a big volatile green candle I could have, but I had an idea, and the idea was right. It just, yeah. So yeah, that one really flipped around big. Because I closed the first one $1.77, and the next one's $1.67. So from here to right here, it was a pretty big loss. And up here, I think it was like 2 something, which was kind of annoying. I missed that exit. Such a nice exit, but still stoked. Happy I held it through all this and had the confidence to just do that. Next trade was at 1122. Okay, let's see. What do we have here? I maybe charted. Oh, what was I? Okay, this red. Sorry, I can delete some of these. No, I'm gonna leave it because that still plays into the analysis. I had red here, so here's this wick. I put red here. Bottom of the wedge. Still have that green for top of the wedge. And this thing comes down and it does a little bounce here. So we haven't completed the inverse cup. I haven't broken this red. I don't have gold at that point. But I had red. Bounced here and then engulfed it right here. See, where did I get this thing? Right there. Yep. So on this candle, actually, I got a call. I just got one because, yeah, I'm not very close to my stop for one. It's red down here. And this is a wedge trade, so still stuck in a wedge. Just kind of low risk, high reward. Pretty low probability, I guess. So a call right here, and then, whoa. What did I get this call for? I got the call for $1.12. Crazy huge spike. I think that's when I move this up here. Yeah, because it almost hit that as resistance potentially. Crazy huge spike. And I'm like, yes, it's gonna make it. So I'm thinking, all right, this is still my profit target. Let's do it. Potentially high of day. We're gonna fill a gap up here, whatever. Who knows what's gonna happen? I'm holding it, and then it just goes big or down. I'm like, oh my gosh, I should have taken it. It was like 220, I think, up there. Like, no way that thing hit that much. And what was my, no, not, it wasn't 220, it was like 205. Yeah, it was 205. This was a 641 call, so it just got in the money too. And I held it through this, and then I'm just charting. So I've got gray. All right, gray would have been there. Why'd I move it? Yeah, gray would have been there. So it comes down. I'm like, all right, I'll just hold with gray and hopefully it hits. And so it breaks out of gray. And then I actually put gold in here, right here, of course, with this one. It just so happened that at that time, the width of my gold channel was kind of acting as the support. So it didn't make it all the way down to this bottom of this gold, but it started to buy up in the gold at a higher level right here, as you can see. That's why I moved that up there with that as the support. I'm like, all right, I'm going to hold on to gold. So gold, go gold. It climbs up, looks good. Thankfully, it comes up here. I'm still holding. I'm like, yes, it's back to that price that I could have gotten. Then it keeps going, and it keeps going, and I closed it. Where did I close it? 32 on this candle. I closed it. So yeah, I actually got a lot better price. I don't think it was a very good spot on that candle. It was probably when it was like here, because this thing was at like 220, I think, at some point. But I closed it for 211. So happy about that trade. I mean, I got the advantage of the news candle, but regardless, the analysis was right, and it was headed towards that direction. Most likely, I had clear stops. It just made it somewhat easier to hold, although that big red candle was a little scary. That was almost 100% on that one. That put me up nice. Yes, I was stoked about that. I don't know what I was up on the day at that point. I don't know if I looked. It's so funny because then it hit here and it's like showing resistance, and I didn't even think. I just take so much focus. I'm just like ready to clock out basically, but I wasn't even thinking I should just flip into puts now. And then after it comes down, I'm like, wait, why did I do that? It's the top of the wedge now. Why don't we go the other way? But you got to be careful over trading the wedge. It was getting a little later. It was 11:30. The selling in this green at that point, it's a bullish controlled selling. So that's another reason where I wasn't necessarily looking for puts. But this was a very, very low risk to reward trade, which I could have done. But yeah, it was a lot of flipping. I already did that flip over here, went from puts into calls. And then this was a bit of an emotional roller coaster. So I don't know. I didn't get into puts there. But then look at the selling continued in this gray. Kind of interesting. Next trade. 407. Okay, it was. Oh, I can even tell you my cancels on here. Okay, 11:30. Oh, yeah. 11:32. I had a limit order. Yeah, I did chase it a little bit. I had a limit order at 11:32 at the ask for 228, and then I changed it and it closed at 211. So yeah, it was up almost 20 more cents. Yeah, should gotta leave the limit orders. Gotta let it come to you a little bit. And then I actually, at 12:04, I looked to buy a call. So came down. I actually ended up canceling it. It was right here for the bottom of the wedge here, this red. And I canceled it. I'm like, this isn't close enough, and I need to just chill out a little bit. This wedge is getting tighter. Let's see what happens. So canceled that one, which was good. 12:07, I got filled on a put for 72 cents. Right here. Breaking the red. Filled on a put. I didn't have the gold at that point. Now that gold. Oh, okay, it rejected it there. Kind of dot plotted through here. It doesn't necessarily have to hold on it and kind of be as the median. You see that sometimes. Anyways, got to put there. For 72 cents. Did a limit to open another one at 12:09. Canceled that one. I was hoping a little retrace get me filled again. This one I'm looking for low of day or bottom of green. And came down. And I closed it at this candle right here. So I charted this light blue right here for the selling. And I was like, I'm just going to manage it with this. It's kind of bad time of day. It's kind of retested low of day. Might not have continuation. So need something to manage it. So I stopped it out here, which is 12.13. That was for 69 cents. So small loss, 3 pennies, not too bad. I was pretty tired and over at that point. And my buying power is actually getting quite low because of all the stops back there. And I did watch it though, and it grinded over to gray, and I considered, was it here? Yeah, here I considered getting a put with gray being my stop. I didn't like time of day. I just, yeah. I don't know if I had charted orange yet or not. I don't think I had. Yeah, I probably hadn't. So came down. Yeah, just kind of built liquidity for a bit, but retested orange here and then here. Could have had a couple nice entries there. Orange was also acting as support here, as you can see. I was out of buying power, I think, almost completely. Where's my next trade? Okay, 12.38. What did I get here? I got a put. Why did I get a put? 12.38. Oh, for a break on that. Yeah, it was a nice. So it broke the red there. I hadn't charted orange. Okay, this is where it was selling in the gray. So nice big red candle here, a little break on red. I'm looking for a move. It actually made low of day. Shoot. I was looking for a move down to green, but technically that was low of day, and that makes sense. It would bounce there. That cup was completed. Here's our handle. Yeah, I wasn't paying that close attention there. So got filled on this one. It's too bad because there were a couple nice moves later. I just got to step away for a couple hours or an hour. Got filled here using gray as my stop. Got it for 88 cents and closed it out on this candle for 84 cents. So small loss. I had a nice fill here. So 4-cent loss on that one. If I zoom out though, I see that the cup's completed. I'm not sure if I had orange at that point or not. I maybe did. But as you can see, I was still trading based on this red, which was a mistake. So to clear it up, you can see if I get rid of that. And then, yeah, what was this selling it? Yeah, I could have managed it with that one. But yeah, the retest here is nice. Retest here on this handle, either one, or even waiting for the break. Could have worked. I was out of buying. I considered it with Webull, like doing a spread, and I was just like, I'm not gonna be that aggressive. Oh, okay, yeah. And then here, I wasn't actually paying a whole lot of attention through here. And then it comes down. So this is the bottom of this green selling for the whole day, and it breaks that. And that actually, I had an alarm for that. It broke that, and it triggered my alarm, and I was like, oh, okay. Given, yeah, that entry was here, here, or here, but it broke that, and you can enter there. And I think I was already out of buying power. Yeah, I was out of buying power. So that's where I considered doing spreads, and I was like, I probably shouldn't. Not on a break. It came down and then had a perfect retrace. Look at this glorious retrace. And here I considered it again, but yeah, maybe I wasn't feeling good already also. And I was like, this is such a small little wedge it's in now, given this orange doesn't necessarily have to be here, but you can see that it actually is, because you put it on the bottom of this, it breaks it and is retesting it. So this would have been a nice entry too, of course. This one, or breaking here, or retesting. Lots of entries. Volatility, I've usually struggled in. Higher volatility, higher IV. Seems like I've been kind of growing in that lately. And now that I've said that, we'll probably have low volume or low volatility and low IV, and it'll be back to taking quick profits and not expecting big ranges. But at any rate, good trades today. I mean, entries all over the place, based on how I was charting. And I traded mostly just in the wedge today. Like, I didn't really catch any of the continuation. The main one would have been actually here, like after it broke this green selling, because this was the bulls in control, and once they lost control, it was just pretty consistent selling. Given it wasn't like very steep, it was kind of tapering, but you have entries here, I guess here, but this is kind of ugly in today. Could enter here, yeah. So that was all the trades I did. Didn't trade too much. There they are. Pause it. Whatever. I'm not getting this sickness. I've got to wake up early tomorrow too. Oh boy. So didn't make up for the last 2 red days, but today was quite green. Lovely. 138. Happy about that. Yeah, yesterday was like $60, and then the day before I think it was 170. So last 3 days is a red overall. I feel good though. I don't feel like I'm tilting or slipping or anything like that. The reds have been, look how clean that is. The reds have just been, I've been averaging in and sizing up on red trades, and 2 days ago it just happened to bite me really bad and I couldn't climb back out. And then yesterday it happened, maybe not quite as bad, I don't know, I'd have to look back at Wednesday, but yesterday there was enough price action, enough moves ahead of that time that I could claw back out of most of the red. Usually I'm not like necessarily trying to do that, but price action dictated that I could, and my emotions were in check. And then today, which is crazy, again, I scaled into a red trade, like big time. I was like half my buying power in that red trade, and then was able to make my way back up out into a nice green day, like a sick green day. I mean, it would have been much better, of course, without that red trade, but and it's funny, it's like it's on the single contract ones that, not all single, I guess this was a 2 contract move. Got a little fortunate with that, but yeah, I don't know. So there's going to be higher risk when I'm scaling up, but it's one of these times I'm going to scale up, and it's going to be on one that's going to be one of these good ones, and it's going to be a big green day. As long as I can mitigate my reds and not get tilted if it is a red one. I need to probably focus a little bit on what I'm doing wrong, or if there is something I'm doing wrong when I'm kind of scaling into these red trades. It seems like I don't know. I think it's maybe just been the market too this week. The early morning trades, like there's been a pretty early morning trade, and then there's been nothing for a while. Like this morning you'd say is right here on this head and shoulders, which I missed, which was fine. But then you've got all this liquidity for a lot of the day, like the normal high trading hours, high volume. And that same thing happened yesterday, and that's when I'm kind of scaling up for a move, and it just ends up chopping. And actually, yeah, no, I know why now, because we've been gapping. These have all been gap days. Gap trap. And the reason it gap trap is because it's so far away from its so far away from where it's in no man's land a bit. So this morning was a gap, and so we're a long ways over of selling in this green. So it has to build liquidity and chop its way over there before it continues on. Sometimes it makes a nice big head and shoulders. Sometimes it just grinds and then goes. Same with yesterday. Yesterday was a gap also. That was tricky. And then the day before was a gap up, but then literally went nowhere. Complete gap trap. So when we're getting these gap days, I think that's where we're kind of seeing, it doesn't always work that way, but we're seeing the morning just build liquidity, and that's where I'm scaling up into these bad trades. So usually I think me scaling up in the first 3 hours of the trading day will favor me because it's not usually a big gap and then build liquidity right away. You know, when the market conditions are a little more normal. But if I'm able to navigate it when we do get gaps and I do have some red and I can still make it back because there's enough volatility in the day where I can recover, that's fine. I kind of need to be more aware of on gap days how much time it might take to build liquidity before it starts its move. A little weekend food for thought. Thanks for watching, guys. Sub up, like up, comment down. Happy money sticks around. Pray that I don't get sick. Peace out.